friends, long time no see. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and happy New Year. I am so just overjoyed to be able to start 2022 with such wonderful viewers and patrons, and I'm really excited to think about this whole year that we had ahead of us that is just going to be filled to the brim with new books and exciting reads and all kinds of great conversations about them. So, to add to that excitement, today I'm even more excited because I'm going to talk to you about the top 5 books of 2021, or at least the ones that I think were in the top 5. So today I'm going to talk about those books that I think were just the best of the best, and then next week I'm going to talk about a couple of the runners-up that were also just so amazing but didn't make it into my top 5. It was really hard. The reason why I'm doing a best of and then a runners-up edition is because I read over 500 books this year. What? Over 500 books. So it was really hard to narrow it down to 5. So I cheated and added a couple runners up as well. But today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the best, the things that I just love the most. And of course, this list is super subjective, right? Because it's my opinion. You might have read these books and think, I didn't think this one was so good, or I thought this one should have made that list. And that's totally fine. Come on into the library and talk to me about it. Email me. I love to hear about what you guys have loved to read and what was your favorite of the year. So these are just my personal favorites that I think are wonderful. And what makes a book get onto this list is it has to make me feel something really special. It has to just move me so much. And it helps if it's really well written too. But my main priority when I'm judging a book, especially a book that I'm thinking about for the best of the year list, I really want it to make me just feel something really awesome. And I want it to resonate with me. And basically these books are books that, even though I may have read them months ago or closer to the end of last year, they have stuck with me and I still think about them. So let's get started. Book number 5, Ember and the Ice Dragons by Heather Fawcett. Ember and the Ice Dragons. Yes, of course I had to have a book about dragons on this list. Can you blame me? I am the Dragon Librarian after all. What I really loved about this book, though, in particular is, of course, the dragon element, but also the really awesome science element as well. And the fact that the main character is a dragon, but she's disguised as a girl. So the main character, Ember, is a dragon, and to save her life, this magician who ends up adopting her basically transforms her into a human, even though she is still really a dragon. But dragons are hunted back in this world, so he's trying to keep her safe, and he thinks she might be one of the last of her kind. But she keeps erupting into flames, and her wings keep coming out, and basically all these other things happen. So he sends her to his sister, who lives in Antarctica, at this science research center. So she goes there and she ends up uncovering this like dastardly plot to hunt dragons down and ends up becoming more comfortable with herself. And it's just a really awesome book. I really just loved the science element of it, the girl scientist element, and of course the undercover dragon was just amazing. And I love that it was set in Antarctica. It was so like all the snow, and it was cold, and it was just a really atmospheric book. The writing was fantastic too. So this is number 5, Ember and the Ice Dragons. Book number 4 is Turtle Boy by M. Evan Wolkenstein. Turtle Boy. This is a contemporary or realistic fiction set in current day, and it's just a beautiful coming-of-age story. So it's about this boy named Will who is really having trouble in school with getting bullied. He's obsessed with turtles, and people kind of make fun of him because of that. And also he has this medical ailment that has to do with his chin that he gets made fun of a lot too. So he just basically really keeps to himself. He doesn't hang out with anybody or have many friends. And for his bar mitzvah project, he actually gets paired with this other boy that's a little bit older who is terminally ill. and to become his friend. And this boy decides he wants to try to help Will get out of his shell, so to speak, and he creates this bucket list of things that he wants to do. But since he can't do it because he's in the hospital, Will has to do these things for him. Things like going on a roller coaster, stuff like that, stuff that he just can't do because he's in the hospital. And a really unlikely friendship blossoms between these two boys. And it is just so amazing to see Will and this boy just become such good friends, and like I said, Will really coming out of his shell and learning all kinds of things about himself and the world and making friends and grief and loss. And it's just, this book is practically perfect. I absolutely loved everything about it. I cried so hard, and I laughed a lot too. It's just a wonderful, wonderful story. Turtle Boy. All right, we're at number 3. Book number 3, When You Trap a Tiger by Tay Keller. Tay Keller, When You Trap a Tiger. First of all, let's just take a moment to appreciate how cool this cover is, right? This book also won the Newbery Award. I don't know if it was last year or 2020, it might have been. But either last year or the year before, it did win the Newbery Award, and I can absolutely understand why. I love this book. This book is about this young girl who is with her older sister and her mom, and they're going to go and live with their Halmoni, which is her grandmother, for a while. And Halmoni is ill, but nobody is really talking about that. It's kind of like this undercurrent knowledge that the girls aren't really talking about, but everybody kind of knows it. And they're trying to share all these stories with their Halmoni, and one of the stories is about a tiger that eats stories. And the main character starts to feel like she is seeing this tiger, like in her daily life. She sees this tiger and she's having conversations with it. And I just loved the surreal sort of magical realism aspect of this book. Like it's a current day realistic book, but it's got this magical element to it too that is just so wonderful. And it's about family, and it's about love, and about friendship and stories and culture, most importantly of all. Such a fantastic story. I love this book so much. If I could put this book into every single person's hands, I would do so, because it's amazing. Maybe one day I'll win the lottery and then I can do that. But until then, I'm just going to keep recommending this book to you guys because it's absolutely amazing. When You Trap a Tiger. All right, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, folks. Book number 2. The Beatrice Prophecy by DiCamillo. I just recently actually talked about this book in a video not too long ago, because it came out not that long ago, and it actually bumped off another book that I had in mind for number 2 because it was so good. Now, I am a little bit biased. I love DiCamillo. She's written a lot of other really fantastic books like The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, and my personal favorite, The Tale of Despero, but this book is absolutely fantastic. It's about this young girl who lost her memory. It's about an ornery goat. It's about a monk who is a scribe who loves words. It's about a lot of different elements that all come together and all tie together, and you don't really know how that is the case until towards the end. Beautiful story. Her books are just so heartwarming and amazing, and this one in particular grabbed me by the heartstrings, and I loved it. Fantastic story, The Beatrice Prophecy. Okay, are you guys ready? The number 1 book of the year for children's fiction. Ready? Number 1 book. Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This book, hands down, is the best children's/junior fiction book I've read this year. I absolutely loved it. It's about a young girl who is trying to figure out what happened after her brother has gone missing. He's been missing for a while. Most people think he's dead or he died, but she knows that that's not the case, and she actually discovers that he was a part of this supernatural bureau of people that helped to keep under wraps all these magical things that were going on in the world that most people don't know about. So she ends up going to this bureau. She ends up becoming a part of it and trying to be in a competition with all these other kids that are trying to join the bureau as well. So there's the competition aspect to it too. It's a very magical school sort of vibe, even though it's technically not a school. It's more of like an institution, but I really got a lot of Harry Potter vibes from it. I also got a lot of, I don't want to say Hunger Games because I think that's overused and it's not violent like the Hunger Games, but in terms of that competition element, that I think is what made Hunger Games so popular, is such a big part of this, like this competition between all these students and Amari trying to, because, you know, a lot of people doesn't think she belongs there, and she knows she does. So it's a lot of that as well. This book, I just can't recommend it enough. I would tell everybody to read it. It's so, so, so good. I just loved it. I loved it so much. If you love stories that have a lot of adventure, this book is fast-paced. It never lets up right from the beginning. It starts with a bang and then keeps on going the whole time. There's the magical, supernatural element to it, too. It's very funny as well. There's also a mystery element because she's still trying to figure out what happened to her brother and what is going on with some other elements as too. And it's her making friends for the first time. There's so many things going on in this book. All of them are amazing. So, highly recommend it. Out of 500 books I've read this year, this was my top #1 pick for children's fiction. Amari and the Night Brothers. Read it. I promise you won't regret it at all. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that these books are something that you are now really excited to read. If you haven't read them before or heard of them before, you'll be wanting to check them out at the library. Please do, and if so, like I said, come in and tell me what you think of them, or if you think there's other books that should be featured instead of one of those, let me know that too. And next week we'll be talking about some of the runners-up too that were also just fantastic books, but I couldn't fit them in this 5-book list. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching it. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful rest of the day.